Nothing can turn a player away from a game better than a skill tree. An overly complex, unimmersive skill tree that works to add artificial depth to a game as it gives you +4 HP or -4 fall damage.
I took slightly less damage.
Skill trees have their uses in certain games, but have found their way into a lot of experiences that simply don't need them. So today on Blurbs, let's talk about skill trees in video games and how some games avoid them. You know, recently I've been thinking video games aren't causing me as much overwhelming dread as they used to. There we go. I think my biggest issue with skill trees is that they break any sense of immersion a game can create. By putting you in the menus, they take you away from shooting aliens in the face in Destiny. By forcing you to create your own version of Spider-Man, they lose the immersion of playing as Peter Parker or Miles Morales. And by having you make decisions 30 minutes into the game, they force you to tie yourself to a build that you may regret once you've played more of that game. Almost every open-world action game implements these immersion-breaking skill trees. Some of them, like Spider-Man, are great games, and this system often just feels tacked on. I don't want Spider-Man to have skill trees. I want him to say that he's gonna throw dirt in my eye. That's way funnier. I wish they would have just kept me on the streets of New York, unlocking abilities as I explored or as I experimented in combat. Another turn to this is every game that implements this silly, arbitrary XP system. You earn XP from doing literally anything, and you can spend that on whatever ability you want. It creates this huge disconnect from what you're doing to what you're becoming, and it's another way that skill trees take away from immersion. But enough of the negative side, let's talk about some games that I think remedy this. In real life, the best way to learn something is by doing it, and many video games also put into practice this natural progression. The most recent example is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which sees you doing everyday tasks. These tasks are fun to do, both because the game is designed excellently, but also because as you're doing them, you know your character is getting better at them, creating both a desire to learn and a desire to improve at certain things that you have fun with. I fell in love with alchemy and archery and spent a lot of my in-game time just honing my skills in those. Stardew Valley takes this to a smaller scale though, cutting some of the fat and making it more applicable to indie games. Stardew Valley doesn't have skill trees, but it does have tree. That one right there. And chopping tree down will upgrade your foraging ability. Mining will upgrade your mining ability, fishing will upgrade your fishing ability, and farming will upgrade your farming ability. Doing the thing makes you better at the thing, which makes sense and is way more fun than digging through a bunch of menus. This system isn't revolutionary though. It's in Red Dead as you explore its massive open world, it's in Warframe as you use guns to get better at using guns, and it's in Mountain Blade Warlord 2 functioning a lot like it does in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But let's get creative. Instead of a skill tree, we have a skill knife. And instead of giving perks and abilities, it gives wounds and tetanus. I think the creativity of modern indie games prove just how much disdain there is for the skill tree, as the most popular genres steer as far clear from it as possible. Metroidvanias focus on the player finding new abilities and upgrades out in the world. Roguelites focus on build variation between each run, never locking you into a set tree. The genres that are thriving in indie games are the ones that are the farthest away from skill trees and innovate on those systems even if they have them. But a lot of the best AAA games also get super creative with how they dole out skills and abilities. While many people dislike the shrines in Breath of the Wild, I absolutely adore the idea of having to solve a puzzle in order to strengthen your player. I love how in Monster Hunter Worlds and Wilds, the monsters you slay are the things you use to upgrade your armor and weapons. I love how in Death Stranding, progression was everyone in the game working together to create bridges and ladders and zip lines that help those after them make progress through the world, and I also liked how I played that game after everyone else, so I got to take advantage of all the zip lines and bridges and roads. Thank you. The creative progression systems in these games works to keep you in the world and out of the menus, immersing you in these excellent experiences. I just think that there are a lot of cool ways to do video game progression, and skill trees just aren't one of them. I get that in some instances, like ARPGs, they're almost necessary, but when they aren't, I love to see games get creative with it. So hopefully in the future, we see more games with unique solutions, and less games with skill trees. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.